awakened Rob Lucci and awakened Luffy. Let's talk about the battle happened between Lucci and Luffy in Egghead. We all know that they already battled each other during the Enies Lobby arc, and Luffy won the fight. At that moment, both of this fighter did not awaken yet their devil fruit. Now that both of their power are awakened, let's find out what will happen in their battle now. Somewhere in the New World, the CP0, which includes Luchi, Kaku, and Stussy, is sailing towards Egghead Island. We saw the CP0 are discussing about Vegapunk on how he managed to split himself into 6 people and calling them as Satellite. Kaku is explaining that the 6th satellite is also Vegapunk. Then we found out that the agenda of CP0 coming to Egghead Island is to return one of the Pacifista and eliminating Vegapunk without damaging the labs and precious assets on the island. Then the CP0 reached the Egghead Island. This is Cypher Paul. We're requesting entry to Egghead Port. Reports indicate that Jewelry Bonnie was spotted making her way here too, Luchi said. They are also planning to kill Bonnie once they saw her on the island. The Straw Hats were shocked to know that Luchi is on the island. We saw Nami and Usopp panicking. Then Shaka speak. Tell them to hand over the Seraphim and leave. We're declining their request to dock. And he added, I doubt agents of the world government will respond well to that. Prepare for battle. Luchi and the other seems pissed. That's not exactly a warm welcome, Kaku said. Then Luchi realized that Vegapunk is already suspicious with them. Then Luchi speak, Vegapunk, do you have any comment on all the recent disappearances at Egghead? 2 months ago, a CP-5 vessel went missing. He even added that CP-7 and CP-8 ships also vanished. Everyone was shocked upon hearing this, and the Vegapunks insist that everyone who visited the island departs safely. Lilith was furious about on how the CP-0 is probably thinking that they sink the world government ships, after the denying of their entry on the island. Luchi said, prepare to abandon the ship. We'll infiltrate using S-Bear's ability. Then suddenly a huge explosion was heard in the island. Luffy and Jinbei was shocked upon hearing this. Then Vegapunk said, that ruckus must be Cypher Paul Zero, the direct subordinate S of the Celestial Dragons, he added. Then Luffy asked, what, weren't they called CP9? Then Jinbei explained, CP0 is a division that stand above the rest. They say their members have historically been harbinger of catastrophe. Everyone on the Egghead Island is shocked upon seeing the CP0. Don't tell me they're intruders, they said. Then the reports of CP0 on the island spread. Shaka, CP0 are on the island. Shaka was on disbelief and questioned on how did they bypass the port. We saw Nami and Usopp are angry and panicking. Then we found out that CP0 uses S-Bear Paw powers to land on the island. They used S-Bear, huh? We have no choice then. The sacrifice of their ship shows their resolve to fight, Shaka said. Then we shift to another scene. Atlas, one of the Vegapunk satellite, is charging towards the CP0. Hey, what's the big idea? I'm the only one allowed to rampage on Egghead, Atlas said. Atlas, wait! You don't stand a chance, Shaka shouted. Atlas was about to throw a punch, but Luchi is faster and attacks him. Luchi transformed to his zone form and uses the 6 King pistol to Atlas. He's showing no mercy, Kaku said. We saw Atlas exploded and receive a damage with this attack. Everybody is panicking and running wild. Shaka has ordered us to evacuate. Everyone retreat. Looks like you're still breathing, Luchi said while Atlas is lying on the ground. Then we saw Luffy and the others are running towards the commotion. Then finally, after their battle on Enies Lobby, Luchi and Luffy meets again. Intruders! Why is Cypher Paul doing this? Chopper, Jinbei, and Luffy were shocked seeing Luchi and the CP0. They're really after Vegapunk, Jinbei said. What are you here, pigeon guy? Luffy said. You realize this is a government island, Luchi responded. Chopper was telling Luffy to hurry and head up. Kaku said to Luchi not to fight the Straw Hats since they are officially an emperor now. The Marines and any world government group cannot usually attack an emperor crew unless they receive an order. Luffy hand over Bonnie to Jinbei and he run towards something. That's right, emperors have considerable backing behind them. Even a small tiff can flare up into an all-out war. Contact the Navy, Stussy said. Then Luffy was in shock. He saw Atlas lying on the ground and heavily damaged. But looks like Lucci has decided to fight Luffy. "Keep out of this, it's government business," Lucci said. But Luffy is angry upon seeing Atlas. "That kid gave us food," he said. Then the battle between Luffy and Lucci started. Everyone is running away from the fight scene. Then we saw that the other Straw Hats and the other Vegapunks are watching the fight on the screen. "What the heck? Did that Lucci guy always look like that?" Nami said. "What a speed! This is a rare sight. Most awakened zone powers tend to overwhelm the user's mind, but this?" Shaka was amazed to see the transformation of Lucci. Then we saw the awakened form of Lucci's Devil Fruit Cat Fruit Model Leopard. This form is totally different on the form we saw last time on Eni's lobby. Then suddenly, the original Vegapunk arrived. "Shaka! Is he on screen? The White Warrior?" Vegapunk seemed so excited to see Luffy's transformation. "You wouldn't happen to know the story behind Straw Hat's transformation?" Vegapunk asked Nami. "We're not really sure. Isn't it one of his gum-gum fruits?" Nami replied. Vegapunk said that there is no gum-gum fruit mentioned in the old Devil Fruits Encyclopedia. Everyone was shocked hearing it. "I mean, you say that, but that's what Luffy always called it." Usopp said, "How sublime! He looked just like that god, described in the ancient texts. I speak of the warrior of liberation whose antics could bring a smile to anyone's lips, also known as the sun god Nika," Vegapunk explained. We saw Luffy in his Gear 5th form fighting against the awakened form of Lucci. "Nika! I've never heard that name," Nami said. And Vegapunk continued that the information about Nika has been wiped out from history. He even added that as long as people's desire persists, such thing will never be ceased to be. We owe all there is to desire. For instance, the Devil Fruits. Each Devil Fruits embodies a different wish someone had for our evolution. The powers actualize these sentiments, showcasing potential futures for humanity. Since they caused unnatural aberrations, they earn the ire of the Mother Nature, the sea itself. Such blasphemy cannot go unchecked. Those who have eaten a fruit face a totally alien reality, born from boundless imagination. Everyone was in awe and shocked upon hearing this explanation from Vegapunk. The battle between Luffy and Lucci continues. We saw Luffy is smiling and looks like he's enjoying the battle. We saw him with his cartoonist expression and movement. We saw Luffy jumping while laughing. Then suddenly Sentomaru came at the battle scene. "This is supposed to be my day off. What do you want, Grandpa Punk?" Sentomaru saw Lucci and Luffy fighting and decided to back up the CP0. Then the other Seraphims came. S-Hawk, S-Snake, and S-Shark arrived along with Sentomaru. The CP0 agents are actually after my life. Sorry to spring this on you, but can you chase them off? Sentomaru was in shock. Wait, wouldn't that make me a traitor? Then Vegapunk respond. True. This is a big decision. Never mind me, Sentomaru. I only took you when you were starving. Please do whatever feels right. Sentomaru was a little bit pissed. Now Sentomaru with 3 Seraphims are facing the other CP0 and with one of the Seraphims. Kaku, we're at a handicap here, Stussy shouted. Then Sentomaru orders S-Bear, who is with the CP0, to attack them. Then we found out that Sentomaru's order has more authority than the CP0. S-Bear turn around and attack with his laser beams the CP0 agents. Then Stussy explains the command hierarchy of the Seraphims. The 5 elders are on the top, followed by Vegapunk and his satellite, then Sentomaru, then anyone with an authority chip. Now Kaku is pissed with Lucci for leaping on fighting without thinking the possible scenario. Then we switch to the battle between Luffy and Lucci. Luffy punches the ground with his gum-gum mole pistol and making the ground rubbery and connecting it to Lucci. He was in pain upon receiving the attack. Then Sentomaru orders the Seraphims to lead the Straw Hats to vacuum rocket and see them safely through the Frontier Dome. Then Luffy jumps on Sentomaru. Oi! Battle axe! Long time no see! Sentomaru was a little bit pissed on how Luffy giving him a nickname based on his weapon, and he casually greet him as if they are friends. You really gonna help Grandpa Punk escape? He asked. Then Luffy responded that he will help Vegapunk. Sentomaru was amazed that Luffy is already an emperor and with his new appearance. Then we saw Lucci uses his technique and moves very fast. He then suddenly attacks Sentomaru. Sentomaru was bleeding heavily with this attack. All we had to do is cut the head off the snake. Now Seraphims, obey us. Luchi is trying to kill Sentomaru in order to gain the authority with the Seraphims. Then Luffy rushes to Sentomaru. He was sorry for distracting him. With his weakened voice, Sentomaru responds, "Don't underestimate me. I saw his attack coming, moron." I thought I blocked it. Luchi is determined to kill Sentomaru. "You're tough, but I need you out of the picture. As long as you're conscious, we can't use the Seraphim." Luchi is about to attack again, but Luffy attacks him. Gum Gum Booming White, whip! Luffy twisted and spins his body in a spiral motion and sent Luchi flying with this attack. Luffy was spinning like a hurricane with his attack. "I spun too hard. I can't stop," he said. Then he continues spinning until he collides with one of the buildings. Luchi get up and stand again. He rushes again towards Sentomaru. But Luffy, with his bizarre big face and open mouth, attacks Luchi while laughing. Luchi easily evades the attacks and jumps. With all the rubble in his mouth, Luffy uses this to attack Luchi mid-air. But still, Luchi evaded all this attacks. Then Luffy stretches the vacuum pipe all the way using his awakened fruits. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Luffy has his googles on and he's about to attack Luchi. Like a slingshot, Luffy attacks Luchi and sent him flying with his Gum Gum Booming White Rocket technique. Luchi took the attack directly, Hez badly injured. "What? Insane power! I'm losing consciousness! Can't hold on!" Luchi said. "Straw Hat, I am trusting you with Grandpa Punk," Sentomaru said. He ordered Luffy to leave now and go to the vacuum rocket in order to escape. Then we saw Luffy, Chopper, Jinbei, and Bonnie is already traveling in the vacuum rocket. We saw Luffy in his exhausted form. After Luffy and his group escaped, we saw Sentomaru lying on the ground unconscious. He fought the CP0 while helping Luffy to escape. "Our orders are to wait for the Marines," Stussy said. "If we wait too long, they'll get away," Luchi responds. Then we saw that the Seraphims are with the CP0 again. They are preparing to destroy the defense system of the island and capture Vegapunk and the Straw Hats. Then, in the end, the Marines that is going to Egghead Island is one of the Admiral Kizaru. Oh my, so the Straw Hat crew has allied itself with Vegapunk. Get as many warships as possible to Egghead.